Have you ever pondered, like a sage under the peepal tree, about the grandest con in the world? The answer: the finance minister's husband, an economist, claims that the electoral bond issue is the biggest scam in the world. Instead, picture a grand rangoli of deceit, a pattern of smaller scams, all interwoven, involving misuse of public funds, awarding government tenders to companies that have no more business running them than a langar has playing a sitar, and turning a blind eye to tax evasion. It's like the many-headed Rakshasa, with each head standing for a different form of corruption. But the bitter truth, as hard to swallow as a handful of neem leaves, is that this scam isn't just about financial sleight of hand. As we peel back the layers, like the delicate petals of a lotus flower, a more ominous picture emerges. The electoral bond scam isn't just a numbers game or a careless misuse of the country's resources. As we delve deeper, like digging into mound of biryani, we unearth that this scam is not just about money. It's also about toying with the lives of citizens, like a puppeteer maneuvering his Kathputli. Did you know that the alarming Avashyakta bond scam has led to life-threatening consequences across our nation? This is a tale not just about money exchanging hands under the table. It's about the lives of countless individuals across our diverse states who entrusted their health to these pharmaceutical companies. Imagine relishing a spoonful of Ayurvedic cough syrup, hoping it will soothe your throat and alleviate your cold symptoms, only to find out it's substandard. This is precisely the bitter pill that hundreds of patients from Punjab to Tamil Nadu, from West Bengal to Gujarat have had to swallow. They suffered adverse reactions after consuming subpar drugs, the quality of which would be rejected even by a local hawker. From cough syrups that remind us of our grandma's home remedies, to essential medicines that are a lifeline for many, these substandard drugs have wreaked havoc and even led to unnecessary deaths. Shockingly, perpetrators behind these dangerous products continue to operate with the audacity that rivals the infamous dacoits of Chambal. Despite numerous violations and warnings, state regulators in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and Gujarat, states that are home to the sacred Ganges, the majestic Thar, and the bustling gateway of India, have failed to take stringent action against these companies. But then, why should they be bothered? When the very companies that produce these substandard drugs have been generously filling the coffers of political parties, just like the participants at a high-stakes, hush-hush Sata game. A classic example of Paisafek Tamasha Deck, wouldn't you agree? You would be astounded to know that these companies have been generous patrons of political parties, not unlike the extravagant zamindars of yore. Who would have thought that some of our trusted Indian Vaidyas, our pharmaceutical companies, could be involved in such a scandal? As we plunge into the depths of the riddled Kalapani of the electoral bond Gotala scam, we unearth that several Bharatiya pharmaceutical giants are implicated. Companies like Zydus Cadila, Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, Torrent Pharma, and Cipla, all well-known pillars of our Aushadhi industry, have been found to be making hefty donations to political parties through electoral bonds. These anonymous daans, shrouded in secrecy, raise unsettling questions about the clout these dandadaris, business tycoons, might be wielding over Sarkari Nirnayas, government decisions. Is it just a Saras coincidence that these very companies have been involved in the manufacturing of nature-standard Kidawayan, substandard medicines? The answer remains shrouded. The lax regulation of these companies, in tandem with the government's decision to decriminalize offenses related to low-quality drugs, paints a disturbing Chitra picture. It appears that profit Rajniti, politics, are being prioritized over Jan Swasthya, public health. The Sarkar's decision to soften the damned penalties for niche standard ki dawayan, low-quality drugs, raises serious concerns. Do you deem it acceptable that these corporations evade punishment while the well-being of our fellow Indians hangs in the balance? This query isn't just food for thought, it's an appeal for involvement. The corporations, whose subpar medications have jeopardized countless Indian lives, continue to flourish on our soil with no fear of retribution. The Indian government's lax regulation and insufficient supervision of these pharmaceutical giants is more than just worrying. The role of investigative journalism in uncovering scams like the electoral bond is pivotal in our Indian society. Without the relentless pursuit of truth by Indian reporters and media houses, we the public would remain oblivious to these malicious deeds happening right in our backyard. It is through their hard work that we come to know about such frauds and are able to demand justice. But awareness alone is not enough, especially for us Indians. We must also take action. That action begins with you, with us, with every Indian. Share this video. Talk about it with your friends, your family, your at the chai stall, in your local community groups. Let's ensure that such scams do not fade away into the crowded streets of our country, because the health, safety and respect of every Indian citizen should always be our paramount concern. Spread awareness about this scandal, share video, and let's ensure that such scams do not fade into oblivion in our Indian society.